Hey watch friends, today we're going to take a look at a watch we previously featured on the channel. This is from the Australian-based micro brand. This is Second Hour, and we're going to be looking at their Mandala. When we previously looked at this, we were actually looking at the prototype, and it at the time was live on Kickstarter. So now I went ahead and actually ordered, this was fully funded on Kickstarter. I ordered one of the production models for myself, and I wanted to go ahead and take a quick look, revisit. It isn't really an unboxing, it isn't really a full review, because we've done both of those before, but I did want to look at what the final production actually looks like, not only from the packaging and some updates to the watch itself, but additionally just to look at the general quality. I know a lot of time what comes up is you'll have a watch where you're looking at the prototype and then you wonder, is it going to have the improvements they promised, those kind of things that come along. So let's take a look at that today. First, as you see here, this is the pouch that it ships in. When we looked at it at the time, I had mentioned that it was going to be a different pouch. It was a canvas pouch that had the Second Hour branding across the middle. Here you can see their symbol and logo in here, and then this will be significant as we look at the watch. This actually has these cutouts in here, so that is a 3D and that is a dual color. I believe this is a PU leather. It is basically the same construction. Very, very nice hard case to this. This thing is quite rigid. Let's go ahead and unzip that. As you can see, it is a zipper pouch here. So when we pop that open, initially, and this is largely how it shipped. I have already opened this up. Like I said, it's not a true unboxing, but I tried to leave everything intact so you could get a feel for it. So first you've got the warranty card here, and this does come with a 2-year warranty. We'll talk about some of the basic specs as we go through. I'll set that aside. You get a microfiber cloth, and it does come in a pouch, keep it from getting dusty and lint covered and those kind of things before you get it. This one with the Kickstarter backing did come with a seatbelt NATO as well, and you can see they sent a gray. I saw they have a blue and white one that I think would match perfectly with my colorway, so I might have to pick one of those up even though I'm not a big NATO guy. But this, for flexibility, seems like nice quality. Honestly, for me, it's probably going to stay in the plastic, but it's something I appreciate. In here, you can see they did include a few tools as promised. You have screwdriver, which I've been told is pretty good quality. I use my Wera screwdrivers for this when I actually size this one up, and we'll talk about that more. But this is supposed to be pretty good quality, so that's pretty nice. And then it comes with a spring bar tool. You can see on the one end, it has your pusher, has some measurements on here, and then on this end, spring bar, this is disappointing. I have not used this, and as you can see, this arrived already busted. I expect this to be honest with these kind of things where they're going to be cheap quality. They're included as freebies. You can't really expect Bergeon quality or anything along those lines, but that is a bit disappointing to see that banged up there. So let's go ahead and set those aside and then flip this up so you have this divider in the middle so you can actually use this as a 2-watch pouch. This is nice soft. It does have a rigid cutout construction. I think this works best for strap type designs here, especially with the retention mechanism and having to squish the bracelet down in there. But overall, I think it's a nice quality pouch regardless of how you use it. And of course, this one did ship on a bracelet. So here in the bottom, you can see it's a mirror image of that. I have my spare links because I've already sized this one up, and you might see over in the corner there, it's already on wrist here. But this, we'll talk about more. I ended up taking 4 links out for my 6.5-inch wrist. Sizing went relatively smooth, and we'll talk about that. But let's go ahead and set this aside. So that's what the case and all the extras that it comes with look like. Let's go ahead and actually take a look at this one, set those to the side, and look at the watch itself. So as you can see, I did go with the silver blue. This is the one that we reviewed in prototype as well, and I wanted to revisit it. One of the things that was coming up a lot was color. So let's go ahead and look at some different angles here for this. This silver blue is just an extremely cool color. It won me over when I was looking at the production model, or the prototype rather, so I ended up ordering for the production one in this color. It shifts a lot of times. It does look like a silver, and then you can get hints of blue. Let me actually pop in, get some white paper here to give you a little bit of contrast and backing for that so you can see just a little bit of difference of how that renders. But it does play really nicely with the light. And if you look back to the review, if you want to get more in-depth on this one, I do have outdoor footage and those kind of things as well. But mainly I wanted to focus on this watch. We'll do the quick overview of some specs just so you have that and you don't have to go back for those details. We already talked about everything that it comes with. It includes a 2-year warranty. The watch itself is a 40mm case that does step down to a roughly 39mm at the bezel. It is a fixed bezel, as you can see there. The lugs are going to be 20mm, so it is strap change friendly for that. The lug to lug is going to be coming in at 45 3/4, so nice versatility for the sizing there. The thickness on this, despite the fact that this is an automatic, and we'll talk about that more, this one actually only comes in at 10.8mm, and that's including that crystal. So really, really slim for an automatic, despite the fact that this does have a Miyota, which are thin. That's even thin for a Miyota movement in my experience. So very nice there. The crystal is going to be a flat sapphire crystal, and it does have an inner AR. As for that movement, I already made mention of the fact that it's got a Miota that's beating in the back here. This particular one, as you can see, is the no date version. They did, as Kickstarter stretch, add an option that had a 6 o'clock date window. And by the way, you still can get these. Check them out on Second Hour website. They do have some in stock, and I believe they'll be doing a restock in 2022. So if you do miss out on any of them, there'll be a link in the bio to check those out, and do stay tuned and keep an eye out for that. This particular one has a 9039 since it doesn't have the date. The one with the date would come with a 9015. For water resistance, it's going to be coming with 100 meters or 10 atmospheres. And for weight, despite the fact that this is stainless steel all the way around, and it's actually a coated stainless steel, this is only coming in at 113.2 grams, size to my 6.5 inch wrist. So it's almost down to titanium level weights for that, which is one of the things I remember being struck with as just how nicely it wore. One of the things that makes it wear so nicely, and it's true on this one as well, is you can see how nice and wrist hugging it is. So that those downturned lugs don't come down beyond the case back. So what happens is on my smaller wrist, it fits perfectly on there and really, really hugs. But if you have a larger wrist, this won't dig in, I don't believe, because it is sitting just flush with the case back there. So I think they really designed this well. And then the way they did this mid case with having these nice chamfer cuts at the top and the bottom with that mirror polishing, that really tends to slim this out. So you have that nice brush line down the middle. And let's talk about that finishing. So this, as I mentioned, this does have a scratch resistant coating all the way around, though it looks flawless. And I don't think you can really even tell that this has anything other than just being raw stainless, but it should keep it looking brand new a lot longer. The brushing is well done. The polishing overall is pretty darn well done also. On the bezel, I did notice, there's a little bit of waviness, a little bit of imperfection as far as being, a Grand Seiko level kind of polishing. But of course, the price point isn't even remotely close to that level either. This one comes in retail-wise is only around, I believe, $565. So not completely breaking the bank, especially for the specs and everything you're getting. And you may even be able to find it for cheaper. Some of the things that are different on this one, though, that I had mentioned on that version that we would see updates, you can see the rotor is just a little bit sharper, a little bit cleaner. It's still not flawless if I can get it to stop spinning around there. Hopefully this will cooperate. Let's try to get this angle. You can see down at the edge, it's not perfect milling for that, but the overall, the depth, the crispness, the sharpness, I think is pretty well done on this, and I do think it is a noticeable improvement from what we looked at on the prototype. Very cool looking rotor, and as I mentioned, this is sticking with that theme of the pouch. You can see that's incorporated onto the back there for the rotor, as well as onto the pouch itself, so nice continuity. Additionally, another little thing is at the time, the prototype had 3 micro adjust holes on this clasp. And let's look at that finalized clasp here, just a nice simple double pusher, no retainer, which I personally actually prefer. But now we have 4 micro adjusts on there, so that's a nice touch also. Overall, all the way around, I've got to say, I have not experienced any quality control issues with this. Everything looked very clean. The dial itself has a lot of pop to it, nice satin application, almost like a sunburst kind of effect for just that tiny little perimeter there. Beautiful guilloche in the middle, absolutely gorgeous pattern. Still have those custom forked hands on this. The signature for the second hour markers, so you've got 12, 4, and 8 for your prominent markers for that. So really changing thing up, almost going like a crosshair kind of effect for that. So I think that's pretty slick as well. As for this 9-link bracelet, this thing, the drape is just insane. Look at how much articulation that has to it, making this exceptionally comfortable on the wrist. I will say, though, I had mentioned I'd talk about the sizing. Do be cautious. So this has screw pins for it. I found the pins of this to be, the screws rather, to be of high quality. I found them to be relatively easy to adjust, but do be careful. Make sure to apply downward pressure. And if you're experiencing any resistance with that, do note with these 9 links and having that articulation in between there, they can be a little bit of a bugger with getting kind of binding up there and getting some stiffness. So I would recommend if you find resistance on any, do give it kind of a little bit of wiggle and don't try to force it too much when you're doing the sizing for that. And I think it'll be relatively smooth sailing. But overall, I found this to size nicely. Overall, you can see that the clasp here, it still is not fully milled, so that way you have smooth against the back, which I think lends to just a little more comfort as well. In total, I've got to say, for a production version, like I said, this isn't a full in-depth review, but everything that I liked about it on the prototype, I would say I like every bit as much. The color is actually as good or better than I remembered. The quality and finishing, no marks that I had on the prototype and those kind of things. This one does have that hard coating, Everything is cleanly finished and applied all the way around. So across the board, I've just got to say hats off to Second Hour watches. I think they really nailed this mandala. I loved it when we looked at the prototype. I love it even more, and I'm very glad to have purchased one and have this in my personal collection. So I hope this has been helpful for you, for anybody who is currently waiting for these and wanted a little bit of a teaser, or alternatively, if you're just curious how going from Kickstarter to actual production model, how that execution occurred. I hope this has been helpful, and like I said, if you are looking for one, do check out their website. They should still have some in stock, and if not, they will be coming back in 2022 for another batch. So I hope this video has helped you make your decision there. If you did enjoy this, please do smash that like button. Additionally, if you're not already subscribed, it really does help out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. So please do hit that subscribe button. Finally, I will have, as I mentioned, for the website, I'll have in the description. Additional, I'll have some Amazon affiliate links and some other things that help me out, get me a small commission. So hitting those and making any purchases, whether strap options or anything like that for this, is greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching.